Hello, everybody. Coming to you live from Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's episode number 84. I'm your host, Jason White, and we've got a special guest tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got Rick Monroe from Rick Monroe and the Hitmen, and I thought this would be fun. As a matter of fact, Doug Satchery from the Tony Satchery Spice Company, Doug, who's the grandson of Tony, he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, listen, this guy, Rick Monroe, I think he'd be great to have on your show." And he's dropping a new song that we're going to listen to tonight. We're going to listen to part of that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And he said he's really good people, and he's really an exceptional artist. And Doug wanted me to get to know him. So that's why he's here. And I thought that it would be fun. And so that's going to be a great time. Doug Satchery's podcast is called The Nonsense Chronicles. And I don't know what, I talked to him a little bit. He had like 60 subscribers like a month ago, and now he's over 10,000. So I want to replicate that same thing. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, please like and subscribe. It takes about 5 seconds. That's it. Please like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. It helps the algorithm. I wanted to mention a couple of people. I wanted to mention that Kathy Kleiner Rubin, she actually has her book out now. I just sent it to your Facebook, Amanda. I don't know if you see it or not, but she just recently put her book out, and that is on sale now. And that's her book. She's one of Ted Bundy's victims. She's one of the people. She's been on this show. She's a dear friend. She's one of the girls that nearly got beat to death at the Chi Omega sorority house in Tallahassee, Florida, right before towards the end of Ted Bundy's reign. And so check that book out. And actually, Danny Couples has been reading that, and he says it's awesome. And he actually read the whole thing, and he said it was great. The other person I want to thank, too, is I want to thank this guy here, Brian O'Hara, who wrote this book. It's The Rest of the Story, and he's been a guest. He was a guest a couple of episodes ago, and I don't know that this is in stores yet, but it's close. And it's one of those books that if you're law enforcement, if you watched the episode, you know that the guy was freaking epic. I mean, the guy was amazing. And so I wanted to mention last Friday, I spoke at the Jewish Center here in Tulsa, and we sold out the event, 200 tickets for people to come and watch me speak. Basically, it was an evening with me, and I dazzled them with just lots of murder, a lot of murder stuff, the innovations in the world of forensics, etc. I certainly got a couple of tags that I had everybody sign. There was at least 5. There was 5 judges there. The chief of the public defender's office was there watching me. She's a friend. And there was several other VIPs, not to mention people that flew in literally. I know we had somebody that flew in from California. We had somebody that flew in from Georgia, who's actually a guest or not a guest, but she actually checks us out from time to time. And that's Amanda, the other Amanda. This one's from Georgia, and she actually checked us out. I'm sure she'll be in here tomorrow night. And it was a great evening. Throw some of those pictures up, Amanda, of some of the people that I was able to sign something for and take photos with, etc. And I really do appreciate these people taking time out of their lives to join us for this event. I think we raised, I haven't got the total number, but I think we raised somewhere in the neighborhood of about 6,000 to close to 10,000 for the museum effort, which is pretty awesome. And I love that. And then the final thing I'll say, the one thing that they gave me, which is really, they gave me this as kind of a gift, and this is really special. What this is a book that a guy put together that is just a book Basically, it's from Ron Treacle. I've been mispronouncing his name for the last 27 years, but it's Ron Treacle, and he basically wrote this book. This thing, there's only 5,000 of these on the planet, and the story that he told me about this is kind of neat, and I wanted to share this because I did not know this. Is that this history book, which he's got the history of the Tulsa Police Department from the beginning, from probably the early 1900s to 1990. And what he told me is he said he sold these and he didn't get anything from the sale. He dedicated all of that, put it into an account for, like, I think it's a college fund for kids. And that account, he's just basically let it sit in there. And that account is up to $250,000 now, which is pretty amazing. And so basically they just use the interest and stuff for extra stuff. It's a great thing, and it still builds in money. So it's really great. And thank you for loving the cap, because that's Danny Couples is the one that got me this hat. He gave me some other things too. And maybe I'll wear the shirt tomorrow night. But anyway, I don't want to waste any time. This is going to be a lot of fun. Crazy deal out in Arizona. I'm telling you, I've been glued to the television set. I'll introduce this guy. This is Rick Monroe, and he brings his music and a magnetic presence wherever he goes with a down-to-earth country renaissance. I'm sorry, I mispronounced that. No, resonance. Monroe is no stranger to the stage. He's performed in 17 countries and every U.S. state, including Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. I had no idea that this guy has been doing this as long as he has. The 7-time Jägermeister Country Brand Ambassador has toured with Eric Church, Dierks Bentley, Lee Bice, Aaron Lewis, Eli Young Band, Pat Green, and Randy, I think it's Hauser, as well as he's opened for country music legends like Charlie Daniels Band, which I've seen him in concert, and he was awesome, Dwight Yoakam, Travis Tritt, Patty Loveless, and more. And actually the more, let me turn this off. One of the mores was Queensryche, which is, they're freaking awesome. And Leonard Skinner was another one that I think that he's open for. And also he's entertained for the USO, AFE, U.S. troops in Vietnam, and the former Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev. His brother called him the Elvis Gump because of all of the amazing people and places his career has led him. His band is about to release some new stuff, and that is and that's why I thought it would be a great time to bring him on. Furthermore, the new song, we're going to play about 30 seconds of it, and I think it drops in the next couple of, maybe the next day or so. And so you're hearing it here, I think, for the very first time. I don't know. You'll have to tell us. Bring him on, Rick Monroe. Welcome, sir, my new friend. I love it, man. I love that you're here.
I'm here. Is my screen out? Is my camera not on?
Yeah, it's on. You're working.
Oh, okay. I see a big gray square.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. I listened to some of your music after I talked to you, and of course, Doug Satchery is the reason that we got connected. And so kind of before we even get started in deep into this about your music career, etc., I thought it'd be kind of interesting to hear your perspective about what's going on with that thing out in Arizona, because I know everybody in this country is kind of glued to it. And what are your thoughts on all of that?
Well, it's pretty crazy. As a detective, I'm sure you're probably like sitting there going, why are you doing this or why are you doing that? Like, I think the fact that they gave up the crime scene within like 48 hours was kind of weird. I mean, it's interesting that it's just such a strange situation. And then of course you have the whole deal with the Bitcoin and none of it seems so discombobulated. It doesn't seem like anyone's really driving that ship at this point. Maybe it is now. Am I wrong? Is that like, would you have allowed them to release the crime scene with that short a time? Well,
I'll tell you what, I think it was even quicker than that. I think it was literally after a few hours. And you're dealing with a missing person case, where I think that in light of who she is, I could see them probably holding it a lot longer. I think probably for me, here's the deal. I mean, as a police officer, I've been working as a cop for 27 years, and we just don't go to trainings as a police officer in a city. I'm sure there's a cop somewhere out there that probably has, but for the most part, we're not going to trainings over kidnappings for ransom kind of stuff. Right. I mean, that's really rare. And I saw something recently. One of the talking heads out there was saying something along the lines of this is like the first huge type of a ransom situation like this in like 50 years. It's been that
I think the
long.
last one was in like Norway or something like that, right? It was somewhere in a foreign. I think that was the last major abduction like this. But then the thing is, you know, is it a ransom thing? Because we don't know what's going on. Like, obviously the FBI, and they're keeping certain things close to the vest. So, you know, you'll hear one thing, and obviously the internet will tell you a million different things, and none of us know what's really real except for the people that are right there in front of it. So until we actually see some of that information, I mean, we're all just guessing. I mean, it's all just conjecture and kind of hearsay.
Yeah, and that's probably my biggest complaint of the whole thing. And I was talking to Danny Couples earlier about this. My biggest complaint, I think, is the fact that I don't know that it's really a good idea to be laying out the roadmap of what's happening behind the scenes. There's some stuff that just does not need to be shared, and you got a lot of these guys that they want to be that guy that tells about this special new thing that we're doing. And I think that we're better off not giving them an idea what's up. Furthermore, I was kind of somewhat irritated a little bit about the fact that I don't know that you need to be going on there and talking about how unsophisticated this individual was, because I don't know that you really want to upset this guy to the point where he's just like, well, then screw it, I'm just going to kill her. And
right.
I know that something, Chris DiPerno, who's listening behind the curtain tonight, and Chris was telling me, and he's a retired detective from Syracuse, New York, and he was telling me that they had said something about there's something that got sent that shows that there could be some signs of life with that, which I think is excellent. And let's hope so. So. And I did see some other video that they're throwing up there about some guy near a walk wall. And I didn't hear or like a brick wall. And I didn't hear what that's all about.
Yeah, he had two backpacks, which was weird. But you're right. I mean, the fact that they actually are telling you all the little nuanced stuff, you know, there was something else that they were talking about. And I thought, you're basically giving criminals a blueprint. Like now you're going, okay, now I got to watch. So the next time that this happens, I'm going to make sure that I do this, this, and this, and this.
Yep.
Because you just can't give it all away. You know, you can't show people how the sausage is made because, you know, in that sense, because you're just going to make a criminal smarter. And that's the last thing you need is a smart criminal. Completely agreed. And they're definitely giving the roadmap of, they're giving out a lot of information as far as how to commit the perfect crime. Well, because I think the news channels, they know that it gets a lot of interest. So they just need to talk. And as they're just talking, they're going to keep talking and take every little tidbit, and they want to put it out in front. And, you know, this is the world of be first, not be right. Everybody wants to be the first one to something. Yep. Right or wrong, they want to do that because everybody wants to be there. And again, I think that that's detrimental to the overall, you know, the overall health of the case. I mean, I hope for everybody's sake that it works out. But it's it's interesting. But I mean, until there's something, there's nothing, and everyone should just let them do their work and figure it out.
Yes, I love that, because that's one of the things that's driving me crazy. When you have all this pressure, it's a tremendous amount of pressure, and those guys don't need that right now. They need to just focus on what's going on, and they don't need a bunch of the having to put out fires and answer questions. It's just constantly distracting. They just leave them alone, and I feel confident that they're probably going to get there at some point, hopefully, and that's going to be good. So
the Monday morning quarterbacks are going to, no matter what they do, there's going to be people telling them what they did right or wrong. So, you know, whatever. Yeah,
exactly. But let's just hope that it all works out. Really, yep. I don't know, but nevertheless, they've got a lot to work with. And I will say this, just one thing: they didn't sit back in the lab. This is the one thing that kind of drives me crazy, where they've talked about how they pieced together and they reconstructed this video like in a lab somewhere. That's not true. Okay. They don't have the ability to make a video of this guy going up on the front porch. They were able to retrieve that video because that video was somewhere. Okay. And so, and quite frankly, I'm thrilled by that, because they actually had it somewhere, even though she didn't have her subscription up to date. So,
that's pretty wild though. Isn't it scary to think that because I have a ton of Ring cameras around my house. That means everything, regardless whether it's captured or the subscription, it's being captured, put in the cloud.
Maybe that, and they might have just disclosed that a little bit, and Google might be going, wait a second. We don't want everybody to know.
Situation, right? They're tracking everything. Well, of course they are.
Well, listen, Well, they've had a murder. I'll tell you what, they've had a murder from what I've understood. I've never had success with this, but they've had a murder that literally was captured because of the Amazon, whatever those things are, those Amazon listening devices that you can, I can't remember, Echoes, like an Echo Dot.
Like an Echo or an Alexa. Really?
Yeah.
Like they caught it on that.
It was an Alexa that captured all of the talking. And that's what I've heard. You know, I heard about it from Quantico. And so, I don't know. I haven't seen that yet, but, anyway, it's just a fascinating case and so forth. And I was just really interested in your perspective. And I think you're spot on, really. And so that's kind of the crazy part about us being here tonight is that, so tell me, how did this all come about? Because you'd actually talked to Doug and you were inquiring about me somehow. So
yes. Okay. So we have a new song coming out and I just started my own record label. It's called Asylum 1212 and we're distributed by Virgin Music. But we got our own imprint and now we're doing our own thing. So I've put a lot more time into, investigating how the industry is working now. And obviously it's constantly changing, but with streaming, there's a complete different situation. The algorithms are different. Everything's always changing and you got to figure out what the next thing is. And I've been trying to figure out like what the best, times to release things are and all these things. And one of the biggest things it came up with is it said that the first 72 hours is the most important time of a song when you're putting a song out. So from tomorrow, when the song goes out, the next 72 hours are the most important. And for some reason, it dawned on me, I'm like, doesn't Doug know somebody that does the first 48? Because I kind of thought it'd be cool to get you to do a little bit like, hey, the first 72 hours of a song is the most important. So make sure that you get out, and kind of do something like that and kind of bring it up to people's attention. That's because a lot of people want to know what they can do to help bands that they love. Well, same thing like with yours. People, the first 48 is the most important, and people that love them need to come forward and help. People that love music need to come forward and help in the first 72. And that led me to you. And he said, call you. And we did. And we started chatting. And next thing you're like, you want to be on the podcast? And I was like, yes, because we have a song coming out tomorrow.
That's freaking awesome. What time is it? What time is the full song dropping?
It'll probably drop at midnight, or actually it's probably out, in other time zones, but for our time, it'll be out at midnight and then it starts to roll from there.
All right. So how did you end up getting involved in this music industry to begin with? Where did this all start?
I honestly, it's the weirdest thing. It's something I've always kind of wanted to do. I mean, when I was a kid, I did dinner theater and other things like that, but I've always, I wanted to play drums when I was younger. And then I switched into singing, and there's never been any time in my life that I wanted to do anything else. I've done some acting. I mean, I know how to do marketing. I know a lot of things, but I went to school for music. I've spent my life and I've made my life and my living playing music since I can remember. So I just haven't ever done anything else.
Yeah. I can kind of relate it to that a little bit. I can remember as a kid, I always wanted to play the drums, and I can remember listening to Kiss Alive, and I was Eric, I was Peter Criss, man. And that's who I was. I could play that whole album basically with air drums. You know what I mean? I couldn't really play the drums. My parents wouldn't allow that in the house, but,
so your parents crazy. Yeah. My parents hated it. And then when I switched to singing, everyone was happy, sort of, because I wasn't a very good singer. So that was kind of a bummer for a while. But then now, I remember my dad was like, why are you going to sing? It's awful. You should never do that. And now he's like, before my dad passed away, he finally looked at me and goes, you made the right choice. So
good. So now when you started out, have you always what kind of other bands have you been a part of?
I mean, I've kind of done a little bit of everything. Obviously, when I first started out, I was like in rock bands, way more like kind of the rock stuff, because that was also the stuff that was going on, because I was living in Los Angeles, and it was kind of, I mean, we were at the very tail end of any of the big rock scene, but that was still kind of the thing. So we kind of got into that and did a lot of those, super long hair, rock and roll, bleach blonde, crazy stuff. And then but the funny thing is, when I was a kid, my mom loved, singer-songwriters like Jim Croce and James Taylor. And then my brother turned me on to Garth Brooks and Hank Jr. And then I would listen to things like, Van Halen and AC/DC. So I kind of got formed with all those kind of music, influences. But the main thing is singer-songwriter became really important. So I became more of a writer. And then as I started getting involved with coming to Nashville and writing, that's what ended up how I moved here,
Yeah. So have you pretty much gravitated towards the countryside, or
No,
Do you do other?
I think we're far more. I mean, this is my thing. When I first came, real quick, somebody asked me if I'm related to Sputnik Monroe. No, I'm not. But there you go. Just grabbing that one. No, like it's kind of weird because I have so much influence music that there's nothing like if you kind of go through our catalog, you'll really hear a ton of different stuff. I think I got pushed more to country when I came to Nashville. But one of the things I always said, and I had a lot of fight. I had to fight with a lot of people when I first came here. I was like, I want a rock and roll thump. I want the heart of a rock and roll band with the lyrics and the sensibility and the hooks of a country song. I mean, it'd be like, oh man, we don't do that here. They're like, do you want a Garth Brooks song? Do you want to write like Tim McGraw? And I'm like, no, man, I want this, which is kind of Southern rock. It's like I want that backbone, kick-ass rock and roll sound with the sensibility of country. Because some of the songwriting, the structural songwriting of country music, especially 90s and some of that stuff, is some of the best writing as far as just structurally. And so that's what I wanted to try to find. It was almost impossible to get anybody doing that. And then, of course, once Jason Aldean started getting bigger and the drop D thing started happening, they were like, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, no, for sure. So how did you, now, is this the same lineup that you've been with as far as the Hitmen, or are they kind of, you've developed into them?
Well, okay, the crazy story is we, I've been using session players for everything. And then just before COVID, I had pretty much the bass player and guitar player, who've been with me since then. We were doing a tour on the West Coast, and it was funny because you started hearing all the stories about things getting shut down. And we finished doing that tour, and as soon as we came home, everything shut down. And so now it was like the four of us kind of were the only people who, remember everybody, no one wanted to go outside with anybody they didn't know. And we'd been hanging out for like 4 months straight. So we're like, I guess we'll just hang out and keep writing and we'll keep, doing what we're doing. And that's when we started doing live streams. If you go on and you'll see some of our live streams on YouTube and stuff. And back then, you're getting 1 million people watching you live stream from your basement, which was pretty amazing. Yes, I'm in Nashville, and in June, if we're playing in Nashville, definitely come see us. I'm trying to catch some of the chats. So that's kind of where we started. And then as time kept going on, I was like, these guys have been with me. We started writing new material, and this thing started opening up. We got into the studio and we recorded our album, Six Gun Soul. And I was like, we're more of a band than just Rick Monroe. And I always joke and I say those guys kill it every night. So they're like the Hitmen. And so it just became Rick Monroe and the Hitmen, and they became part of it. And now the bass player and I have written everything together since Six Gun Soul, the whole new album that we're doing. And so that's Alan Beeler, and that's who is my main co-writer for everything.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Nashville is the place to be. I mean, for your genre, probably, right?
Well,
there's probably just a ton of people, ton of people.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, it's a music town, so it doesn't like the good thing about Nashville is it's not genre specific anymore, because there's so many different types of things going on. It's a great music town. Funny, if you go downtown, if you go down to Broadway, I mean, you'll be more apt to hear My Chemical Romance than you will to hear George Strait. It's kind of weird,
Yeah.
But it's a cool town because it is very creative, and I do love that. And you're centrally located, so when we go tour, we're within a couple hours of almost every city. We can, if within 3 hour blocks, we can get our way, pretty far up in the Northeast, and it's just easier to tour, and you can kind of do a wagon wheel around Nashville.
So let's talk about some of these bands that you've opened for. I'm just curious. Somebody had asked, what it was like to open for Lynyrd Skynyrd. And
well, we're kind of spoiled because we know Peter Keys really well. He's the keyboard player. He actually produced one of the tracks on our last album. And he's been the keyboard player for Skynyrd for, forever now. And so it's fun to do it because then we got to go stand out in front of him and cheer him on. And he was like videotaping us, like cheering him on. And it's kind of like playing with friends because we get to meet all these guys. that's the coolest thing about this industry is it is a fairly small industry at the end of the day. And we've been very fortunate to meet a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, that was a great one. I think I told you the story. We were playing a big festival, and we were on the bill with Queensryche. I've always loved Queensryche, and then it was funny because, we get done, and we're watching them and fanboying out. I'm standing backstage having a beer, and I'm like, "Hey, man, great show!" And he's like, "Hey, you're Rick Monroe." I'm like, "Yeah," and he goes, "My daughter's a fan of yours." I'm like, "No." And he goes, "Yeah, man, that song, This Side of You, is just so amazing." And I was like, "I gotta take a picture with you." And I was like, "No, can I take a picture with you?"
Yeah.
It was such a, and then I just thought they were messing with me. But my other guys in the band were on the other side of the stage talking to those guys. And they came back and they were like, my drummer's from Seattle. So he loves those guys. And he's like, they know who we are.
That's cool. Because Queensryche,
so
they're freaking the bomb, honestly.
Yeah. Actually, another really funny story is we were opening up for Charlie Daniel, God rest his soul, the sweetest man in the world. I've had two great, funny stories with him. The first one was we were playing in Nashville, what used to be called the Wild Horse. And we're backstage, and he's a big man. My wife's like 5'1", 5'2", very small, petite. And he comes walking down the hall, just big old Charlie, takes his hat off. He's like, "Howdy, ma'am. I'm Charlie Daniels." And I'm like, "Bro, she definitely knows who you are, and we're honored to play with you." And that was it. So the next time we play with him, we covered Cocaine Blues. And I didn't know he played that song. And I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're an opening band, you should never play what the headliner is going to play. That's kind of a no-no. Yeah, you want to try to keep your set and their set separate. So we do our song, and I get done, and I'm standing there, and his road manager is a guy named Dusty, and he looks like who's that one cartoon character with a big mustache and shooting guns and stuff.
Sylvester, it's Yosemite Sam.
Yosemite Sam. He looks like Yosemite Sam in pressed jeans. And he comes walking. I was like, "Hey, my name's Dusty. I'm Charlie's road manager." And I was like, "Yeah." So I want to talk to you about the song you did, Cocaine Blues, Johnny Cash. And I was like, "I know. I'm so sorry. I didn't do that. We didn't know." He's like, No. Charlie wants to talk to you." So I was like, he goes, "Man, that was the best version we've ever heard, man."
Wow.
And I'm like, "You should just keep doing that, son." I was like,
"Wow,
that was cool."
Yeah, I saw him once, and he was really cool. He's
great. So musical. I don't think people understand how musical that guy was. Everybody just thinks this devil went down to Georgia, but honestly, when you watched them live, they were like I don't know, it was so out there. His musicianship was insane, So anyways.
Yeah. And he's one of those bands too that honestly, he played it like it was his last show. I mean, and I love that about him. And I only got to see him the one time, but he was really good. He brought it. And and I was telling Rick, somebody, since they mentioned Leonard Skinner, I'll mention a quick story. I was a brand spanking new cop. So this is many, many years ago. And I had this misconception that as a cop, you could basically go wherever you wanted. I thought, oh, finally, man. I mean, I've been a fan of music my whole life. And I thought, finally, I could just go backstage, hang out, and they're not going to stop me because I'm a cop. And so I go there. Leonard Skinner's performing outside. I end up going backstage. I told a buddy of mine that was a brand new cop too. Between the both of us, we had 5 minutes of experience. And I said, "We're going to go backstage. Don't worry about it." He's like, "But yeah, we're not working that show." I said, "Who cares? Nobody's going to stop us." So we stood back there, and one of the guys came up. I think it was his road manager for Leonard Skinner. And they were playing on stage, and he goes, "Hey, could I ask you for a favor?" And I thought, "Oh, we're busted. We're going to get removed." And he goes, "Hey, would you mind escorting the band back to their hotel?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And then I'm pulling CD cases or the CD inserts out for them to, "Can you get these signed? And do you think you can get me a drumstick?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, I got you." So I got to meet Leonard Skinner back at the hotel, which is really cool.
Super nice group, aren't they? All those guys.
Yeah, man, they were cool. They were really cool. They were gracious enough to do that and hang out, etc. So in this music industry, just curiosity wise, I know that you're struggling all the time. You probably can. How does that work? I mean, do you get a lot of money off of Spotify and these different sites, or no?
No, Spotify don't make it. They pay you 0.004 cents a stream. Yeah. It's pretty that no, the way you make money is by playing live, by
Okay.
selling merchandise.
Okay.
That's kind of what's left. I mean, we do have like vinyl records. We have a ton of t-shirts. So go check out our merch store. You know, we have really the vinyl record is the coolest thing ever because we made a limited edition where every single vinyl is different color. So out of the run that we had, not one of them's the same. So that's
Really?
pretty cool. Obviously, merch is a big thing, huh?
Like just out of curiosity, that sounds really cool. I want to talk about that for a minute because that's neat.
Yeah, here I'll
Kiss
show you.
does-
I'll show you
Kiss
like
has
one
done
of
that a
them.
lot.
Like, here's one of them,
Okay.
and that's like
Wait, Amanda, throw his picture up there a little bit bigger. I want to see that.
see that?
Hang on, Amanda. I want to see it. Yeah, there you go. All right. So every single vinyl of
It's
every
complete-
is
Yeah, I'll
different.
grab another one, and then you can see the difference in color. Like they're all very different. Excuse
So how
me.
many in that run, Rick?
I think we have maybe 1,000, but I think we're down to like the last couple hundred.
Wow, now that's cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean these are almost gone, and then we already decided that we won't. When we go back, we're going to pick a specific color, and that's it for this run, and then we'll do it again. I think every time we do a record, we'll do a run like that, and then just do normal. Because I mean,
Yeah.
it came down to the guy was like, "Hey, you could either do, these randomized colors, or you could do black, and it's the same price." I'm like, "Well, let's do the randomized colors because it'd be unique." But like I said, I couldn't believe how quickly we sold out of those. Almost. I mean, I've got like 1 or 2 boxes left. So go get them. Yeah, right there. If you go on our thing, that's my Spotify, the band Spotify, and then there's merch. You can go get our merch. All our tour stuff's up on there. If you check out our social media, I mean, I'm very much involved with it because I mean that's also the other thing is creating a really good relationship with people that listen to your music. I mean, I'd rather have 1,000 super fans than 100,000 people that are casual listeners, and that's something we've been really focusing on more. Is really creating a much stronger connection with the people that we're playing music for.
Yeah, you were kind enough to ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear this for the first time. Amanda, why don't you go ahead and play that little intro for us of that song he's dropping.
Let me tell you how I'm feeling, no holding back. Love the way that your eyes sparkle every time you laugh. When I wake up in the morning and see your face, girl, you could bring the sunshine to a rainy day. 'Cause love ain't always easy, but everybody needs it. It ain't no secret when we're alone. But every time we're touching, my heart gets to rushing. Baby, it's all or nothing with our love.
Yeah.
Nice. You're
Yeah.
right about the Eagles vibe. It definitely has got an Eagles feel to it or sound to it for sure.
Yeah, with the harmonies, and it's very different. Like if you go back, this we have an album that's called Southern Tea Bags, which is what this is off of, and like the first 2 tracks was like 45, and which was just a straight out of it's just a banger. And then we have the Bad Thing that we just put out, and this is our love song. Which it was funny, we had it and it wasn't in the schedule, and my guitar player's girlfriend would not leave us alone. She's like, "You got to put it out. You got to put it out." And I figured, all right, we can get it out the day before Valentine's Day, which is awesome because it's a love song. And the coolest thing is it comes out tomorrow, but we crowdsourced a video, and we had a couple hundred people send us pictures of them, a couple. And so that's going to be the video that goes with it, and that all comes out tomorrow. So I mean, I'm really excited. It's cool because it's just a different. It's it's us, but it's a little different.
No, it's really cool, man. I like it. So that thing is, and the album, the name of the album that song is actually on is what?
Southern Teabags.
Okay, that's good. So
it's country with balls is basically what we,
I love it, man. I think that's gonna be a good one. So you guys, from that, I'm sure you're gonna start touring like crazy. How many albums does your band have total?
This will be our second one. We put out a bunch of singles as well. We did the one full vinyl, and then we've put out multiple. We did a really cool cover of "Best of You" by Foo Fighters, because a lot of people say I look like Dave Grohl. So when we did it, the cool, if you look at the video that we shot for it, we did it frame for frame to the Foo Fighters "Best of You" for the first like 20 seconds or 30. Like we did the intro of their video exactly like that, and ours, and then did our own thing. But and we've had a couple. We did a really cool song called "Common Ground." Remember the band Nappy Roots?
No, I don't know them.
They have a really big song called "Good Day," and they're a rap band out of they're more of a hip hop artist out of Louisville, Kentucky. And we had Be Still came and did the rap on a song that we have called "Common Ground," which is completely different than anything else we've ever done. And so we've got a lot of those kind of things. We have the Six Gun Soul album. We're working on the Southern Teabag. We also have a live album called "Live from the Asylum" that will be coming out probably mid-summer. And that's a cool thing about having our own label is we're now scheduling everything that we're going to do. And we have a Christmas album that we're working on. So yeah, we're just going to be kind of doing our own thing.
Nice. Now, how does that work? Just, for my sake, do you just contact the band and say, "Hey, is it okay if we do this?" I know you guys don't make any money off of one of their songs, right? Or how does that work?
On covering somebody else's? No, you do make money on, because you're still the artist doing it and you're putting it out. You just have to pay them a form of a royalty. I've had a bunch of people cut songs that I've written, and basically all they have to do is, some artists want you to be I think like when we did Midnight Rider, Greg Allman had to hear it, and his lawyer had to hear it just before Greg died, and he gave us his blessing. We did a cover of Motorhead's "Ace of Spades," and which the coolest, I gotta say, one of my favorite things about that was we did a cover, and my friend who's a DJ actually who does that metal, used to do that metal show, and he actually got it in front of Lemmy, and Lemmy said it was his favorite version of "Ace of Spades."
That's cool. I was just at the Rainbow Bar and Grill in Hollywood.
Okay, Jim Florence? Jim Florence?
I don't know him. Yeah, I don't know him.
Oh yeah, Jim was like, I'm gonna play this song for Lemmy. He's gonna love it, and you're just gonna be awesome.
And he actually played it on his metal show on XM, and then he's like, "Oh my God, he loved your version." And I didn't know that Lemmy loved country music. If you go into a little bit of history on Lemmy, he was a huge country fan.
Huh.
So that's one of those things where you pat yourself on the back, and it's funny.
Hey,
like when we were out
cool.
touring. Yeah, we were touring with Ted Nugent, and I remember the first night we played Ace of Spades. We go back, and he's like, "That is some blistering barbecue Southern kick-ass hoot and holler and shit. What you guys are crazy."
That's freaking cool. I'm gonna have to check that out when I get off of here.
Yeah.
So have you been to the Rainbow Bar and Grill? Because they've got like a shrine to Lemmy. Yeah, that's cool. Really cool. Yeah. He had, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever get a chance to go to Hollywood, you got to check out the Rainbow. It's the same owner owns the Whiskey A Go Go, so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
That whole area. Like I said, when I lived in LA, that was still kind of a thing. And actually, the Rainbow's got excellent pizza. Their little pepperoni pizza is probably one of the best, like as far as just it's got its own thing. So
that's cool. Yeah. I actually had dinner with a friend of mine there, and we actually, Scotty Austin and his band were there too. So we all kind of hung out at the Rainbow. It was really awesome. So what was some of the better? I want to ask you who the kind of the not so nice bands were, but as far as the bands, who were some of your favorite ones that you toured with, that they were just like treated you like brothers?
Man, it's tough. Man, Aaron Lewis was actually super cool. I mean, to the point where he would let me like, because I had at the time I was being sponsored by Jaeger, so I was actually just an acoustic opener. So it was basically I had my own bus with like 3 or 4 guys from Jaeger, and usually our buses were like falling apart. And I just remember like when we were doing the tour, Aaron's like, just come stay on my bus. I have an extra bunk. He even let me borrow his bus when he wasn't, out. He'd be like, just ride, hang out as much as you want. He had us, my wife and I, come stay at his house when he used to live in Massachusetts. Just a super nice guy, he was really cool. I mean, I've been very fortunate. Everybody I've toured with have been really, really sweet people. Like Eric Church, we did a tour with him. And then there's an organization that we used to do a lot of fundraising for in Nashville. And one day when I was doing like a hike for it called Safe Haven, his wife and them donated like $5,000 in my name. So I won some golden boot. Just things like that. So good people.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never really had anybody that I would say was just awful, which is really cool. I mean, that's a good thing to say. And honestly, the bigger the artist, a lot of times the cooler they are.
Really?
Yeah. If you're kind of, I think the problem people have is you don't understand what that person's going through on a day-to-day thing. So if you're hitting them somewhere and asking and wanting something from them, they're kind of, whoa. But if you're kind of there hanging out with them and it's just a situation, then it's more person to person. And I think, because, and I also don't ever get starstruck by anybody that does what I do. I get starstruck by, like, if I can meet Tim Tebow, I would lose my mind. My wife is actually fangirling over you because she loves the show, and she's like, ask him all these questions. So,
ask away.
Those are the kind of things that I think are more interesting. So
yeah, Rick, I'm a big deal. I'm like a legend in my own mind. Believe me.
Yeah, you're a legend in a lot of people's minds.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
So I mean, so that's actually been really cool. I mean, I've just been very fortunate, and I've always been able to kind of find my way into good things. It's like I said, my brother called me Elvis Gump, because I mean, one day I'm sitting here on the Potomac, going up and down, drinking vodka with Gorbachev, singing Russian folk songs.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
When was that?
It was probably about like 12 years ago, maybe 14. I'm not really sure, but it was. But what it was I'd done Voice of America, and the lady from Voice of America really enjoyed our because we just finished doing a Department of Defense tour, and so she was like, "Wow, I really enjoyed this. Hey, I'm doing this private party for an orphanage, and Gorbachev is involved, and they're doing a fundraiser, and it's like 50 people on the USS Sequoia, which is the old presidential yacht. So I mean, she's like, this is exclusive. She says, would you come play it? And I was like, I would love to. So in the time I got the opportunity to do that, I taught myself a little bit of Russian, Pararuski, Viet Pararuski, Ploha, Nani Pinimai. And
nice.
And Harashu, yeah. And then I got there, and I actually sat there like in a small room playing for Gorbachev, and then he started breaking out this the Stolichnaya, but it was called I think it was like the presidential label, and it was like this special vodka, and then he and I proceeded to drink several bottles, and it was pretty awesome. And then I got invited to go tour Russia to raise money for his orphanages. So I spent almost a month going all over Russia raising money for orphanages, and it was like a mind-blowing experience.
What was that like?
Well, it was funny because the lady from Voice of America had been there like 20 years ago, and she packed all these things like toilet paper, and I'm looking up Russian. I'm like, nah, it's not what you think it is. But she had like all these things. I show up just as is, and it had every modern, everything. I mean, it was just a regular city. Moscow was amazing. And I just remember getting up in the morning, my first morning, and I went for a jog around Red Square. And the thing that struck me the craziest, Red Square, Lenin's tomb, the seat of communism, and right across the way is a Giorgio Armani store, a Gucci, like everything of capitalism and money,
Yeah.
basically all around Red Square. And I thought, that's pretty funny. We won.
How did you get treated by the people?
Excellent.
I mean, I know as an entertainer, they're probably all about it, but
No,
just
excellent.
in general, really. Okay.
No,
That's a place.
The crazy thing about that is they know more about us than we know about them, which I felt really embarrassed about. You know, I was like, they're like, what do you know of Russia? I'm like, bears, vodka, babushkas, old ladies. I don't know, like what, potatoes, or is that iron? I don't know. And they know our history really well. But it was kind of cool. But I've also gone through like most of Europe. We've gotten a tour. And then the other crazy thing, after I did that, she invited me, Voice of America, again, to go do a big signing in Vietnam. And that was with Pete Peterson and John McCain before he passed away. So I got to go to Vietnam, and that was a trip because it's called the American War over there. And they won in their minds. So, my first time ever singing the national anthem was in Vietnam, the first time it had been sung in like 30 years. And I was on TV, and this huge, you know, it was a normalization of relations. And they signed this big document and had to go out in front of this huge crowd and all the TV cameras and everything in Vietnam and sing the national anthem. So
that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully you were able to at least keep one of those empty bottles of vodka that you drank with.
I didn't. I wish I had of. I know. And then I even got to go. He has a restaurant in Moscow. That was even crazier. When I get to Moscow, I'm at this table, and everybody's sitting around, and I'm talking to all these people, and somebody leans over, and they're like, "You know who you're at the table with, right?" I'm like, "I have no idea who these people are." And she's like, "Well, that guy would be like it's Ukrainian version of a Mel Gibson." I'm like, "Okay." And this person and all these people were huge celebrities at this table, and I had no idea who it was. Kind of cool. It was kind of fun.
That is cool. Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah. So
you've gotten to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, all just playing music, you know.
Now, I am kind of curious because of AI, and you know, I've kind of played around with Songer and Sunu. Is it Sunu? I think that's
it's your fault, man. You're the guy. Okay.
Well, I mean, I mean, honestly, I sat there and I thought, man, you could probably get inspiration by just plugging in some words just to see what comes out and kind of go from there. Is that
well, you know, I think as long as you use stuff like that as a tool, I think it's fine. I think people that are creating entire, you know, bands, like it's weird. Like now there are entire playlists of bands that are all AI. And people are selling it, and it's kind of weird. But you know, again, like anything, it's a tool. If you use it to enhance what you're doing, I think it's great. Like if I'm writing a bio, or I'm writing a press release, or I'm writing anything like that, you know, AI is great. But it's funny because it is limited still. You can kind of tell, you know what I mean? Because AI isn't the best or the worst. It's the middle of everything. It takes everything and squishes it down to here. So everything that it does is always going to be basic, because that's how it's programmed. It's programmed to make something linear out of everything else, where a human being can do excellence and failure. You know, that's where we exceed what AI can do.
Yeah.
You know, and plus we're flawed, so we create oddness, and oddness creates comfort and humanity, and humanity is what creates art, and art is the feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, it does actually. I like listening. You've got a really good grasp of all of this, and it sounds like you're a pretty smart guy. I want to thank you. We need to, ladies and gentlemen, you need to check out his website, and you need to buy something. Maybe I'll tell you what. Check him out. Listen to his music. Where do people catch your? I know you got a YouTube channel. What's the name of the YouTube channel? I don't know. You might have got stuck. Hey, Rick, if you can hear me, you may have to hit that red box down below and then come back in here. In the meantime, while we're waiting for him you might have to click that red box, come back. In the meantime, I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that Georgia and Phyllis, thank you both for your generous donation to this show. Georgia, I didn't get a chance to tell you last week because I was on the stage speaking, and I really do appreciate that. I'm gonna definitely put that back into the show, maybe to get a chord that I need to make it sound better, etc. I do appreciate it. I appreciate Karen Roscoe being in the house. The lunchbox lady, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And several others. There was a question earlier I wanted to at least address. It was way back here. And Tyler Burns is in the house, and he's got a podcast, the debrief. And then basically I wanted to mention this real quick with looks like we've managed to bring him back from being frozen. Welcome back.
Was it me that was frozen, or were you frozen? I mean, it was weird because everything went bad.
I hope it was not both of us, but I'm still listening. I think it was you. That was you mean? But one of the questions that Tyler asked earlier, just a minute ago, I wanted to make sure I asked it. And he was saying, aren't most of the people that kidnapped know the person for ransom or whatever? I don't know. I don't really know. That's why I'm kind of fascinated when I've been watching the news, just to kind of digress here for a moment. I'm a little bit fascinated by all the experts that are coming out of the woodwork, considering the fact that most detectives don't really get any training in that. And do we really know?
Everybody has like it's an opinion, you know how that is.
It is, but it's almost as if they put it out there that that's what's up. But anyway, so let's go back to where we were at. I wanted Amanda cue up that second song. What's the second song that she's going to play here? Rick, what's this song called?
It's called Bad Thing. This was the song that just came out a couple weeks ago, and it's just a cool swampy kind of a cool vibe, about we all do some bad things every once in a while.
Yeah. Let's throw that up, Amanda, if you can, and play a little bit of that.
I'm glad I'm back. I'm sorry I was glitching. I don't know what was going on.
Well, it's all right.
I know we were in the middle of a good, cool thing that was going on.
I know. And so Amanda's she's scrambling to do that. By the way, she's actually in Nova Scotia, Canada,
wow.
Behind the curtain. She's the one that puts this stuff together. I'm very, very
She's doing
blessed.
A great job. Well, real quick on the AI thing, going back to that, it's just, like I said, you can feel the difference in an AI song than you can a human song. And so I don't feel like AI will ever take us over in that sense. But people who are casual listeners and stuff, I think they'll be fine. Unfortunately, that's what they're going to want anyways. But again, that's why it goes back to, I would rather have 1,000 super fans that really care about what we're doing and want to invest in the stories and the songs that we're creating than I would 100,000 people that are just, like I said, casual listeners.
And the song, what's the name of this one? Our Love?
The new one that's coming out in just hours is called Our Love,
Yeah.
And
the other one's called Bad Thing. Is that what it is?
Bad Thing. And the first song we put out was called 45, which like life flies like a bullet out of a 45. That one's a rocker too. It's kind of like Extreme meets ZZ Top. So that's a fun one.
Yeah. I the moment you said that, I thought of Shinedown.
Yeah, I know they have a song called 45. I didn't even think about that when we wrote it, but I was like, whatever. Ours is totally different.
I'm going to check all these songs out tonight.
Please do.
I'm going to
check them out and then hit us up. We have, obviously we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. My TikTok is awful because I'm just not going to dance. Sorry.
Hey, you know what? I got to tell you something, man. You got to check out TikTok, seriously, because I thought the same thing. I thought there's no way. I had some guy going, oh, man, you need to check out TikTok. It's great. And I'm like, no, that's for people acting stupid. And I can't be doing that where I work. The people that I work with wouldn't tell me up to my face probably, but they would definitely be talking behind my back, and it'd be going throughout the department.
I just don't know what a murder scene if you want to be going, hey.
No, but I'll tell you what I did do though, Rick. I actually, okay, good. Yeah, go ahead and play that. Or are you? That's going to be it. So we'll play that in a quick second. So what I ended up doing is I toured a couple of old murder sites like the La Bianca House, Spawn Ranch from the Manson murders, and so dude, those things went freaking nuts.
Well, I bet.
And yeah, I had like 123,000 views of a 2-minute video. And I went from 500 followers to like 6,000 in a weekend. I couldn't believe it. So anyway, it was really cool. So maybe there is stuff for you. I'm sure that
there is. We've never been able to find like what our thing is for that. And I mean, I'm sure there's a certain thing that will get us a certain deal, but there's so, I mean, the thing is we have so many platforms and everything's so fractured. It is hard to kind of maintain one and to grow one to a point where it's actually giving you the benefit, you know?
So you started your own label is what you said earlier.
Yeah.
And, how is that? I mean, do you have some bands signed?
We actually just, Sophia Brand's our first artist that we're putting out. She's got a single that's coming out, I think in March, like March 27th. The guy who plays keys on all our stuff produced something for her. His name's Lee Turner, and he turned me on to her, and she's kind of the canary in the coal mine for us to see how it goes. I've got some other artists that I'm talking to. So yeah, we will be distributing other stuff. You know, because I mean, it's just obviously, you know, high tide rises every boat. So we want to try to bring a bunch of people along with us and create, you know, our own kind of, you know, ecosystem of good music and do that.
I'm trying to see if I got it. Amanda, let me know if you've got that or not. I can't, give me an updated message to let me know if you've got that last song, if that came through or not. Yeah. Bad Things. Let's do it. Let's throw it up there.
For taking in vain for the last time, and I ain't gonna take no more. It's all a mess, I must confess, but it ain't gonna rattle my cage. I know that I'm in too deep, but I'm going all the way. Ain't looking over my shoulder, got no heart on the string. Can't get any lower, I've done a bad thing. There ain't no redemption when you run off the track. Ain't no stopping, ain't slowing, ain't never, ever coming back.
I like it. I like it a lot.
That's
going to get added to my playlist for sure.
I hope so.
No,
wait
definitely.
till you check out 45. After I saw the intro on your thing, I was like, oh, you're gonna love this. Yeah, it's weird. It just happens to be that we're talking about our next songs are ballad, but every band's got to have a ballad, and Valentine's Day is coming up, so that's we did.
I love it. When people are going to tune into this, is it going to be like on Spotify? You're dropping it there, and then
it's everywhere. It's every what they call it, every DSP. It's like on every digital streaming platform. Everyone is going to be out. And I mean, the cool thing is, then we also have like if you're like one of those, you know, hi-fi people, we have it on Tidal and all the different. You know, we have it not only in regular, you know, whatever the regular streaming things, we have it like the high end and everything. So it's out. It's going to be really cool. We're really excited about it. Like I said, the cool thing, we got to crowdsource from a lot of our friends and fans send in pictures. So the video I think is really sweet too. That we did a lyric video, but we used real people and their candid shots. I think it's gonna be pretty awesome.
Very nice. Amanda, throw up his tour schedule. This is his tour schedule that I got off of his website. And so we're going to a lot of places out. Florida, love it. And a lot of Florida, Wisconsin.
We have a lot of dates that we haven't put up yet that we've been, you know, because we just booked Bike Week in Myrtle. I think we're definitely doing Sturgis. We might have a couple Sturgis runs and things like that. A lot of these things are in the works. We kind of, you know, we were touring nonstop. And then as soon as I decided to start this label, I kind of said to the band, we need to refocus our marketing, because there's a lot of times that you're kind of shotgunning things out and you're doing a lot of stuff, but you're not really getting the return that you want. You know, you can hire a publicist, you can do this, but nothing's getting the traction that you want. So we kind of stopped and took time off. And so we basically, since about like November till now, we've only been working on the record company, marketing, and really kind of getting really more involved in what we got going. So that's been a big, it's weird. We realize sometimes you got to stop and step back to move forward. And so that's kind of what we've been doing. And so a lot of the tour dates that are coming up they'll start stacking up a lot faster.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes out for when you see him coming to town. Rick Monroe and the Hitmen. I'll tell you what, if you ever find yourself in Oklahoma, I'll certainly make a trip, and or
cool.
in the surrounding states for sure, definitely.
Yeah, well, I've come out there. I've come out there a couple times for the Patriot Golf event, and hopefully I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be out there again. And I actually have a podcast called Road Life that I need to reboot, but it's all about people who make a living on the road. And since you go around to a lot of different places, I need to have you, because there's a ton of questions I want to ask you. That
please do. No, please do.
If
you got anything off the top of your head, have at it. I don't mind.
The very first time you got your very first crime scene, was it what you expected, or were you completely taken back, or was it just one of those things you're like, okay, well, this is what I'm doing? Like, how was that experience the first time you walked in on something like that?
Overwhelming. It was, there wasn't a lot of training. That I didn't feel like there was a tremendous amount of training straight out of the gate. And I realized that it was a massive amount of responsibility to make sure that you were doing everything absolutely perfect. And I can remember the very first murder that I did the crime scene video on. And in that, there was an attorney that got shot in the head. She's laying in bed. And her husband was a school teacher, and he also got shot. He got shot in the finger. And this is a long time ago. This is probably 2007 or 2008. Well, I was so intent on filming this crime scene that as I'm filming the scene and I'm filming the victim laying in bed, I didn't even notice as I'm filming, let me just put it this way. As I'm filming this, all of a sudden there was a dog, a little lap dog that was laying up by her head that I never even noticed. And as I got close, it went like that. And I was like,
wow.
I'm telling you, my pulse probably went to about 220 because I did not expect it was so quiet in this house. It was absolutely, you could hear a pin drop. And then all of a sudden this dog went like that. But it was the immense amount of responsibility that goes with that. And I'm a serious person, I like to have fun, but I'm pretty serious. And so that was probably that. I'll tell you another quick story, just real quick, just popped into my brain. As I was photographing another scene, there's some guy that got shot in the head and stuff. And my boss goes, "Hey, go ahead and photograph inside of this house and make sure you just show that there wasn't a struggle inside of this house." So I said, "Okay, cool. Has the house been checked, for anybody else?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, there's nobody there." So I was like, "All right, I'm taking photos." And as I'm taking photos, I took this one photo because I was a crime scene detective before homicide. I took a photo, and all of a sudden there is a black female standing about a foot away from my face as I took that photo, looking me right in the eye. And you talk about terrifying, right? In the middle of a dark room, and there's a person standing in front of me that I didn't even see. And it turned out it was a cardboard cutout of a person.
Oh no.
Seriously. But I about fell over on that. But yeah, for sure.
I had a friend who used to take one of those and move them around the house. And so you would totally forget about it. You walk in the room and be like, "Oh man, I hate that."
I know.
And then, okay, one other question, then we're done.
No, you can ask me whatever you want.
The other one is, okay, like we go play a show, we blow off steam. Sometimes it's by, having a couple drinks or, and then, of course we have a lot of crude humor amongst ourselves to kind of get our heads back into whatever. I mean, that's just kind of what we do, because it's not at all, but the pressure of going up, entertaining and doing all that. And then the after effect of, wow, okay, now we got to unwind somehow. Which I can't even imagine what you feel coming off of a crime scene and having to deal with that. Because the amount of pressure that you're under, how do you blow off that steam? What do you do to rewrite yourself or come back to even?
It depends a lot upon the crime scene and what the events happened there, etc. I've had a couple, not too long ago that really bothered me. They were just over the top type of killings, or one of them involved a 12-year-old, and it just really kind of sickened me. I remember at that point I was actually relieved. I thought I might have hit the point of I've seen enough. And actually I remember going, no, actually I'm thankful that I'm still human. And this
you still feel that's a good thing.
Absolutely. But to tell you the truth, what do? I kind of get a taste of what you do a little bit, Rick. Nothing to your extreme, but I get to speak throughout the country, and I'm blessed to do that. And I've been to probably 50 major cities or 50 cities throughout this country. I'm going to hit my 25th state this year, and I think I'm going to 10 different states this year to speak. And so I get a taste of what you go through, and I don't know how you do it, man. It wears me out just getting on the planes and stuff. And I know you guys being in a tour bus, which, man, that looks like a freaking awesome time. I definitely would enjoy it. I would enjoy it too much. I can promise you that. There's no doubt. But I think that would be cool for a while. But do you get to the point where you're just kind of, you don't even know where you're at? It's just,
I mean, that happens sometimes, but it's just, I mean, I'm really fortunate because everybody around me is really grounded, and I've got a bunch of good people. So it's never like, I don't know, it's not, nothing. It's just a job that we all enjoy doing, and we enjoy working together. And so it's like you go out, you do it, you have fun, you try to do as much as you can. Like I'm a person who, when I go somewhere, I like to go do things. There are people who go on the road, sleep in their bunk, stay in their hotel, don't go see anything. I mean, we'll go play putt-putt golf. Wherever we go, it's like, what is there? What's there to see? So I try to make the most of the fact that I travel. And I think, to me, that probably keeps it. And I think I have a fairly normal home life. I think that's important. I think that's a huge part of it. It keeps me balanced and those kind of things. And I don't take myself too serious. The biggest things I was always told is, one thing, you play music, you don't cure cancer. So you can't take yourself too serious. And I was always asked, do you want to be successful or famous? And I always said successful. And I think that's a healthy way to look at things, because fame is fleeting and whatever. So I think as long as you keep those things in balance, I think everything. And I have God in my life. I mean, that's a huge part of my life.
Good.
And that, I start every day with the Bible, and that sets me right. And that's, I witness to that. And that's what and as life goes on, the more and more I do that, the more I lean into it, the more and more it makes it easier.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like that a lot. And also, to answer your question a little further, just briefly, is I do this. This is kind of a healthy hobby for me. I like the interaction. I like the interaction with the public. I 99% of these are live. And at first I was really scared about that, but to tell you the truth, you know how it is, man. When you're performing, there is nothing like a huge crowd. Especially if they're really on it, man, and they're
the
electric.
Bigger the better, which is weird. People
That's right.
Get that,
Me too.
Don't get that.
Me too. I love it. If I could
Small
feel
crowds freak me out.
Well, it's uncomfortable. And so I always tell them when they're booking something for me, I'm like, listen, get as many as you can fit in there. I don't care. The bigger, the better. I want 500 people. Great. Because in reality, it looks exactly the same, whether it's 1,000 people or it's 300. It doesn't look any different. So that's what I do. I do that. And I'm starting to click on trying to write a book, things like that.
Oh, I bet I can't imagine what a book. Have you ever written a book before?
No, but I've been told for years that I probably should.
Yeah.
And I've written all the chapters down, and I literally started clicking away, and I'm starting on it. And so I want to share a lot of these stories with just people. I know that I'm not looking to get rich off of it, but I do have a lot of stories that I think are worthy of sharing, that I think a lot of people would get a lot out of it. And so, and that's kind of why I do this. Plus, as well, you like to surround yourself with musicians that are probably really going in great places. And if you surround yourself with people that are really making a difference in a positive way, that's one of the reasons that I do this too. It's not just about crime stories or true crime. I like people that are moving mountains out there in the world and making a difference. And that's what it's about. So no, it's good questions. I like it. A book would be awesome, Karen. And trust me, it would be the truth. That's I will tell some good stories, believe me. So, ladies and gentlemen, check out his website. Let's make sure we've covered everything. You got a website, and we've been throwing that up there tonight. You got that album that's limited. If you're into limited copies, man, these are not going to last long. And I'm telling you.
No, the vinyl we're getting
I
down
love
to the
when
very
I'm
last. Yeah.
Okay. And
I'm
so
going to send you one. I don't know if you're a vinyl guy, but make sure I get your address. We got a signed one that I'll send you.
Yes. Absolutely. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that, buddy. And then so I will cherish it. Believe me, that's really, really cool. And and likewise, when my book is done, I'll sign you one. I'll send you, I'll send you a couple of items of swag. Anyway, I'll send you a couple of little things. So, but anyway, ladies and gentlemen, check him out. Check out his songs that's coming out. And furthermore, I want you to subscribe to all of his platforms, his YouTube, and all this, that, and the other. Ladies and gentlemen, that's listening in that are Rick's fans, hey, subscribe to my page, please. I would love it. Definitely. I've got a lot of great people, and it's such a harder industry. You know, you said something about being famous and so forth, and it's always 99.9% positive for me. It's and I'm not going to go out and say I'm flat out famous, but recognized. Period. I don't make the money like famous people, but the difference between one of my guests that was on here was Larry Wilcox, who played John Baker and Chips. So he's been on the show. Yeah. And back then, there was 3 channels on TV. So nowadays you got freaking streaming networks coming out of your ears. You've got music bands to the end of the earth. I mean,
everybody can put out music. Anyone could put out music tomorrow. I mean, you could do something and put it on DistroKid and it's out.
Yeah. So everybody's inundated with just information, people, all the stuff. So it's just a hard industry to basically be in, I'm sure, to some extent. So what's next for you? You're putting out this stuff there, right? You're putting this stuff out tomorrow. And then what's your goal? Where are you hoping to be in the?
I just keep growing and we've been very fortunate because we have a lot of music already in the can for the next thing. And we're just going to keep growing and growing. I want our label to grow. I want to be able to bring on more artists. I want, just to keep, growing with more people listening to what we're doing. I'm really proud of the music because we're producing it ourselves. We're doing everything ourselves. I think we've really, we've hit a really cool stride. So it's just about putting it out, getting people to hear it, hopefully touching them in the sense of that it makes them feel, what it's supposed to, and that they'll want to keep hearing more, and that I can just keep making music and keep entertaining people. Now how big it gets, that's God's design, but until then I'm just going to keep making it and hoping that it just goes.
Right on, Rick. I love it, man. I think I've got a friend now for life, and I love it.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I'm definitely going to catch you at some point. Ladies and gentlemen, check out all of his stuff for sure. Next week.
The label's name is Asylum 1212.
Oh, good. So Asylum 1212. Is there a special website for that as well?
There's like a Facebook page right now. We're so new. We've been putting out our own stuff. This will be our 3rd song that we put out of ours. That, like I said, we're just starting to put out other artists, but we haven't even really. We're still like getting our feet under us on it. But it's called Asylum 1212. It's because part of our address was 1212 where we were working at the time, and everything was crazy. I'm like, this place is like an asylum. And I just thought that was a great name, Asylum 1212.
It is a good name. It's a great name. I like the name of your band. I think it's freaking awesome. I love it.
The Hitmen. Those guys kill it every night.
No, that's right, man. I love it. Yeah. So this was meant to have a murder cop bring you on here. I think that's great.
I know. So if there's you're the guy who's promoting our love song tomorrow for Valentine's Day. I love it. And I'm wearing my Remington shirt.
Nice. Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, next week is going to be not next week, tomorrow night. My gosh, this is the first time I've done a back-to-back. Tomorrow night, we've got Rick. Basically, I want to make sure that I've got this correct. Hang on a minute. There we go. That's going to be our guest next. That's going to be tomorrow night. This guy is a very, very special individual Nick, it's Nick Hall is his name. Basically, Nick, this story is crazy. When you hear it, when he was a little kid, there was a guy that basically went into their home and held them hostage, his whole family hostage. And unfortunately, and this is the crazy part, unfortunately, one of the snipers who was trying to take a shot at this guy. And I think this guy might've killed somebody right before he went into their house, but the sniper ended up killing his mother accidentally.
Ooh.
And I know it's a incredible story. When I heard that this had even happened, I was like, you're kidding me. And what did he do? He went on to become a police officer.
Yeah, I saw that he was an officer. But he still ended up, yeah.
He did. And he was so, he doesn't have any ill feelings towards the police or anything like that. And he ended up becoming a police officer. He's worked at a few different departments there in Florida, and we're not unearthing all of these dark memories of his. He actually is a motivational speaker, and he speaks about his story. And I think that's really powerful. And I thought, what a great guy to bring on and share that story of motivation and inspiration. And so he'll be on tomorrow. And
that's awesome. What a level of forgiveness. That is grace. That is the definition of grace right there.
It is. I completely agree. Rick, I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and I hope that, and I know Doug's going to check this out if he didn't check it out already. I didn't see him in here tonight, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here on Thursday night. I got to remind you that here in the very near future, I'm going to be doing a second podcast as well. It's called Beyond Homicide with Jason White. That's going to be off of another network, but so that'll be Wednesday nights, and then I'm still going to do the Friday night thing because I just feel like I need more stress in my life, and that's what exactly I'm going to do. I'm going to do more of this. Yeah, that's my wife saying, no, you're not. Well, anyway, nevertheless, hey, thanks a lot, Rick, man. I really do appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody that's here, this show is not a show without you. I absolutely appreciate it. And Rick, don't click off. Stay on here after we get out of this thing. And it's not a show without you all being in here. I want to thank you. I want to thank Georgia once again. Georgia, holy cow. Listen, I'm telling you, that little sticker that you sent me, it's very much appreciated. And to Phyllis, likewise, I do appreciate that. I appreciate the donation, and I do appreciate it. My wife saying hello to everybody, to Danny and so forth. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much. Until tomorrow night. How fun is this? This is going to be great. I'm going to love it. Till tomorrow night. Take us out, Amanda.